I'm gonna start with an opening statement previewing two big games, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Um, Big road week for us. Another Pac-12 team and Mountain West team. Two teams that are tough teams to play on the road. So we're excited about the opportunity, the experience to go on the road and continue to see how we are improving and where we're at as a team. Really excited to play, especially Utah in-state game. We have a lot of recruits up north who, are watching this game to see where we're at, and I think it's a good measuring stick to, especially after playing a relatively close game with Arizona through last weekend, that being able to again test yourself against the Pac-12, and it's exciting for all the kids on our team that are from Utah, and you grow up watching those programs and hearing a lot more about them than you do Southern Utah. So we're just hoping to get our exposure and name out there a little bit more and have a chance to compete up there. And Wyoming is another fun place to play. Been there at other universities, and their women's basketball crowd is a good crowd, between 5,000 and 10,000 depending on the time of the season, and so that'll be a fun environment for our kids to go play in and to compete in, and to, again, success against Utah State, just another measuring stick with other conferences of if we're heading in the right direction or not. So excited to get both these games on the road.
After what Utah State did this past weekend, how big is that win looking for your program?
Yeah, it's really interesting this early in the season to watch teams to develop and move. Really proud of what our team did at Utah State, and at the time we knew it was big for a lot of different reasons. The way they'd started the season and for in-state purposes, but then to see them go to the Montana tournament and win it handily the way they did is just another confidence builder that we are headed in the right direction and doing the right thing. So it's kind of fun to see, and you root for the teams that you've already played on the schedule, hoping that they continue to do well, so that it helps your RPI and strengthens you for end of the year things.
When it comes to Utah, how excited is the team to go up to the Huntsman Center?
I think we're pretty excited. Like you said, it's a good home game because I'm from up north. So I remember going to games at the U when I was little, watching the girls play. So it's kind of cool to be able to play in that big arena and on that floor. So I think we're really excited.
It's been an interesting. This group's just an interesting group. They haven't shown a ton of emotion about the opponent. We focus so much on us building as a team that we really haven't talked too much about who we're playing. It's just us getting ready, and then we show up in the gym and play a game. And so yesterday, as we started to talk about Utah for the first time, you could see, especially the kids that are from up that way, that there's a little bit more excitement about it. And I mean, the pass list for people who want to come to the game is our biggest yet in 3 years that I've been here. So that part of it's really exciting, but it's funny to watch them just focus on preparation for us and not necessarily worry too much about Utah. But playing in Salt Lake in the Huntsman Center, I think there's going to be a lot of excitement behind that.
Now, obviously still really early, but it looks like you guys are going on a pretty positive direction. What's the difference between this year and last year?
Mostly our leadership, our captains that have really bought into, this is the first group that is all our recruits, and you can feel a difference in commitment level and the culture that they bought into. And so that's one big difference. And then the second is we've been able to get more depth on the roster. So we have more weapons coming off the bench, and for the most part, even though Saturday's game hurt us losing two people in foul trouble, we've been able to replace players with equal talent and not lose too much as we've gone to the bench. So those two things have been the biggest difference maker, but I definitely feel that the team itself is confident in where the program's moving, and that just makes it a whole different world when you're coaching kids who believe in it. And except for Saturday's game, every game teams have made runs on us and put us in stressful situations that last year we folded in, and this year that confidence is there, and we're able to overcome those. So that part of it's exciting and fun to watch them develop.
Jamie, where's that confidence coming from?
I just think we all believe in each other, which is really nice. We know that there's girls that are going to step up and do what they're supposed to do, which is, I think, a difference from last year, because you didn't really know who you could count on in what situations. We've got girls that'll step up to play defense when they need to, or hit a big shot if they need to. So I just think we all believe in each other this year.
Now, when it comes to going to Utah, is there going to be any more butterflies, extra emotions there?
I don't think so. We played at Utah State last week, and I feel like with all the fans we had, we pretty much had home court advantage there, which was really nice. So it'll be good because we got up north girls, so we'll be able to pack the arena with some of our own fans as well. So it's just another game.
So are you expecting a home court advantage at the Huntsman?
It would be nice. Nice to get some of our up north fans out there. So it should be fun.
They don't draw super well, if I remember correctly. So.
Yeah, they haven't in the past, and I think they draw a little bit better in Utah State, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of crowd they get. But I know for sure that we've got 40 plus that have asked for tickets and that are just on our pass list alone. So if we can add to that, that'd be great. It made for a good cheering section at Utah State, and was kind of fun to have the loud explosions of cheering when we were scoring, and it was awfully quiet when they were playing. So
what's the importance of competing and even beating these in-state opponents?
Well, the number one thing is, as you're trying to develop a program, is exposure. Just being able to get our name out in the newspaper and the media up north is a huge thing that as one of our mantras or goals for the women's basketball program is relevance, and we want to be relevant in the state of Utah, and that's in the recruiting standpoint of things too. So as soon as you start getting your name out there, even that you're playing Utah and Utah State, next year we're in negotiations with BYU, and those type of things get the in-state recruits and the in-state fans and people to know who Southern Utah is. And then if you can compete and win some of those games, it just adds that extra exposure of relevance that in the probably the most important thing that in this profession is recruiting and being able to get the athletes that can make the difference. And in state, especially with six D1 universities in the state, it's tough to fall in that, where you fall in that pecking order. And so for us, showing well and winning those games and being able to play those games help in the in-state recruiting process, which overall moves the program in the direction that we want it to move.
Now, you talk about this team having belief. How much more enjoyable is your job when you have a team like that?
Yeah, it's funny because every year, every team, you fall in love with certain things and mostly the people make the season, whether it's enjoyable or not necessarily the wins and the losses, but there's definitely a different level of stress and frustration that came with last year's season, when a lot of times we were really close and we were developing things, and you want the success for them to kind of be validated or rewarded for their hard work. This year, they've really bought into the philosophy and the concept that the results don't matter. wins and losses aren't what we're after. It's us every game improving and becoming a team. And so the process of it every day is a lot more exciting and fun to watch them. And you celebrate a lot more things differently than just hoping for that one win, you know. And that's maybe twice a week that you have a chance to go play a game. And if you're putting all your emotions into whether we win or lose, it can be a very long, frustrating, stressful experience. This year has been a lot more day-to-day, learning and celebrating the successes and finding that measuring stick every day. Some days that we, even in practice, haven't lived up to it, and they felt it and they know it, and it's obviously a different feeling of than the days that you know you got better and you can celebrate those things that we've done. So this year's definitely a lot more fun in the interactions that we have on a day-to-day basis, and you can see the connections that they're building and the trust and love they have for each other, which makes the day-to-day process a lot more fun.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Good luck. If you want to start with an opening statement previewing tomorrow's game, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Sure. Big game for us. You know, as we progress through this thing, you know, all of our games have been tough, but you know, this one is a Mountain West team, obviously loaded with a ton of talent. But we're fortunate to get them, you know, to come up here to the Centrum and give us a very quality home opponent here. So, you know, from that standpoint, it's a great game in the next progression of trying to test where we are and where we, you know, as a team and how far we've come. So we're excited about that and to see how it looks against, you know, the high level athletes that they have.
Kind of facing the team you've used to coach. Is this weird at all?
You know, you get so close to it. You know, kind of leading up to it. It was probably more interesting a little further back, but now as we're getting close to it, these games come at you pretty quick. And leading up to Life Pacific, you're just focused on Life Pacific, and now you have just such a short window to focus on UNLV that some of the nostalgia wears off a little bit. But what is cool, just, you know, a lot of the people that, you know, 12 years of relationships of people from Las Vegas coming up, you know, interested in the game, you know, that sort of thing is kind of neat. More about the relationships for me, but then obviously 3 of the guys on the team are guys, you know, intimately familiar with. So that part of it's pretty cool, and yeah, so it'll be a neat experience.
Does it help you guys out with like extra scouting reports for these guys?
Any inside intel is always good, but you know, you appreciate how good those guys are, you know, obviously, and having a hand in recruiting and coaching those guys. You then you see them from afar. You know, you start to appreciate again how talented they are, and obviously they're great kids, the guys that you root for. So that part of it's, you know, pretty good. But you know, you just maybe know a few more things about their game, but they all work hard and they all improve in the off seasons, and so, you know, it's a little bit different.
When it comes to playing old players, old colleagues, all that, is this something you like to do, or is something you would probably prefer to avoid?
Yeah, you know, I'm probably my competitiveness supersedes a lot of things. So from that standpoint, you know, it's great to see him. You know, it's kind of like you know, being at UNLV and playing a lot of our former Findlay players. It was always neat to see him before the game, but once the game tipped, you know, that it was, you know, they wanted to win like crazy. I wanted to win like crazy, and after the game, it's, you know, back to more of that nostalgic feel. But you know, essentially, once that ball's in the air, it's you know, the guys in our jerseys versus the guys in their jerseys.
Is there a little more motivation for you though to win this game, because like just to, I don't know, not really to throw it in their face, but to say, hey, I could have done that job there?
Not necessarily. I mean, we are where we are in our process, you know, and I think that's the focus for us. I mean, we obviously have a, you know, young team and a lot of new faces, and so we're just trying to get better every day with the, you know, long-term focus, and, you know, teach correct, and hope that we drill down to something special at the very end. So from that standpoint, obviously you want to win the game, and obviously, you know, with all the ties there and that sort of thing, it'd be a little extra special, but really still kind of focus on more of the process necessarily.
When it comes to the process, you got Yvonne starting games as a freshman. How difficult is that?
Well, I mean, Yvonne is such a competitor. He, you know, he's hard on himself, and I'm hard on him. You know, he's a perfectionist, but he, I mean, he's come out and done just a phenomenal job. You know, this far. I mean, to you know, do what he's doing. I mean, his first ever real college game, we asked him to guard an All-American. You know, and he did a phenomenal job, and then obviously on the offensive end, he's so talented and skilled. I mean, his future and his present are both very bright here, obviously, and you know, so from that, I mean, just to do that as a freshman is very difficult, and I think sometimes when young guys come in, they don't understand how hard it is to play immediately and how special it is when you are playing, because the majority are not, and but once they get to be a little bit older, they realize, wow, that was a big adjustment to make in a short period of time.
Yvonne, how has the adjustment gone?
Pretty hard, but it's also very fun because you're playing the sport you love. I mean, during the practice it's really hard, but there's nothing better when you leave the gym knowing you got better that day.
When it comes to that first game, how much did that help you just confidence-wise being able to go up against one of the best in the world or country?
It helped a lot. Obviously, Peter is one of the best college players right now, and I had like high expectations for that game, and he was really good, and I thought I did a good job, but there's just one game, so I need two team needs to progress every game, get better.
How have you felt you've progressed as the season's gone on?
I feel like I got a lot of better since the first day I came here. A lot of stronger also. I started realizing some stuff on the court better and stuff like that, like get better overall in everything.
What do you think has been the hardest thing to kind of adjust to just with college basketball in general?
Oh, like game speed for sure. Yeah, it's really fast. I mean, back home everything is like slow. Every single offense we need to run a play, and here is just transition, run as hard as you can every single time.
Are you getting used to it now?
Yeah, I am.
Like, how long did that take?
I remember my first week here, so I came, and then I came like really late. The next morning we had early practice, and during the practice I legit thought I'm gonna die this practice. It was really hard. Then we had a weight room, we had to do like 100 squats, 100 this and that. It was really hard, so I was sore. And the next day we had to run a mile first time. So I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But after that first week, everything was easier.
You guys have had some struggles so far. Where's the team, like, player-wise, confidence-wise?
We're pretty confident. We know, like, after watching every single movie that the mistakes we make are really, like, we can fix them really easy. We just focus, and we think that if we fix that, we can be really good.
Are you? I know there's a lot of connections with Coach Simon. What about the players, though? Are that you guys a little more juiced to play UNLV?
I mean, like, we want to win every single game, so doesn't matter who we play. We really just want to go out there and win. So I know it's a big game, but I don't see any difference between any other games. I think it's the same thing. Just win, play best as you can, and mistakes we did last game, make less of them, and just get better.
Coach, do you know of any like big contingent of family, friends coming up for this one?
Yeah, I mean, there's a good solid crew, weather permitting, that is talked about coming up. So that'll be neat. Obviously, Wednesday's a little bit tricky with those that have school and all that sort of thing. But yeah, it'll be a fun series, and we've got this. We'll go down there the next 2 years, and so it's kind of a nice little connection here for a couple 2.5 hour drives to be able to get up and down. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, and I think more importantly, it for us from a basketball standpoint, it poses a good challenge. It poses a good challenge, a different challenge. It seems like every team that we play has been dramatically different than the last team, which is good for guys like Ivan that we're building around. We're building around guys like Ivan. He's a pillar of what we're trying to do, and so the more looks we can give them now, the better it's going to be for what we're trying to do with this league play eventually. But yeah, it'll be neat to see some faces and people I've worked with and in the athletic department and all that sort of thing. So that'll be fun.
So are you expecting a big atmosphere coming like from the Cedar City contingent? Like a lot of people coming out for this one?
That's a great question. I certainly hope so. I certainly hope. We played 4 games here in the Centrum, and we're putting up a ton of points here. I think we scored over 100 every time. It's an entertaining brand. We got guys like Ivan that do everything right. And people it's very easy to get behind. So these guys that are playing their hearts out for the name on the front of the jersey, and so you certainly hope that people start rallying behind that and come out and support.
So big win on Saturday. How much can you learn from a game like that, though?
You know what? I mean, they're a team that in preparation for them, they played some pretty good teams to close games. It was a 6-point game to Pepperdine, which was touch and go all the way to the very end, and but what it was for us, and it was a good lesson for our guys, is we jumped on them early, and sometimes we let teams get confidence early. You have a ball game all the way to the end, and it was a good lesson for our guys to understand that if you jump on some teams early, that's the way the game's going to go. You can turn a 10-point lead to a 20-point lead to a 30-point lead, and that's what we talked about in some of those early games. Is we'd get the game to 20, struggle to get to 30, get back to 12 instead, and then we get back up 20, trying to progressively handle success. In that game, we handled success. I mean, anytime you have that margin against a team that's probably not going to have that margin, I'd be surprised even with the other D1s they play that they have that margin. Was wildly successful for our guys to experience.
How's the culture going for your team so far?
I mean, it's phenomenal. The guys are we got to a point where we have all great guys that are super competitive, that understand learning and growing. You know what I mean? They I joke with Ivan all the time. He's such a perfectionist. He's so hard on himself. But we have guys that really want to be personally good. And that all collectively. You put that in a room together, they start to coach themselves, and that's where we want to get to, whether it's this year, next year, or 2 years from now, where all of a sudden you have a locker room that's just coaching each other. Guys are making mistakes, they're talking to each other through the mistakes, and so from that point, it's coming, it's really coming, and even on our culture things, guys are talking to each other. I mean, every made basket, the entire bench is up. Guys are picking each other up off the floor, and they don't walk there to do it, they sprint there to do it. I mean, those are the things as a coach that we're looking for, and that's one of our highest priority this season was let's lay this groundwork for a very solid culture going forward, and I've been very, very pleased with it.
For a game that could be super personal, UNLV, for both the players and the coaching staff, it seems like no one's super extra pumped about it. Is that just because you guys are focusing on yourself more?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it just is that we're so focused on what we do and doing what we do, and I think a little bit of the turnover too. I mean, the fact that we essentially have 4 guys that suited up last year back. They have 3. It's both staffs are brand new. I mean, it's a lot of change going on. So as they focus on what they do and implementing their culture and their system, and we're doing the same thing. When you're in this phase of a building process, you're really more focused on yourself at this stage. And I think that it's hard to really take the blinders off, and I don't think it's really productive to either. I think we keep focusing on the task at hand, and I think it's the best way to accomplish it. We try to keep our players in the moment, and we do the same thing.
Would a win accelerate the progress at all?
Anytime you're playing teams when you're playing up, essentially, Mount West and UNLV is a team that for the last bunch of years we've been able to get top 10 recruiting classes there. I mean, it's a heavyweight, a storied program. It's something that makes people raise their eyebrows if you're able to get a victory against. And the same thing like Valpo was. These are major programs that are contending here. And so if you can do that, it certainly accelerates your process. But our belief in where our guys are right now, I think, is pretty strong. But I think anytime you can validate it with a win, it just solidifies things even more.
Great. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job, big dog.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you much.
So, looking back on this year, where do you guys think you did good and where do you think you did bad, Mike?
I think we improved a lot just with how many new tools that we used this year. With Pat being the new quarterback, he made tons of progress this year, and he helped us have some momentum coming into the off season. So I'm really excited.
Well, looking back, what's like the biggest moment for you?
Getting kicked out of BYU's game. I don't know. I read your article the other day. I had one of them. What was it? Oh, probably beat Portland State. The Whoville experience. That was awesome. So.
Well, Patrick, what about you, man?
It definitely had to be beating Portland State.
So what made that so special?
I think that whole week we just the coach had, just coaches in general. It was like a good motivation of just when we signed up to play here, like we signed up to be a part of Cedar City, and for a lot of the things that was said about Cedar City, we were supposed to be the ones to step up and pretty much be behind Cedar City at that point. So that was a great feeling to show up for the city.
Now, Mike, you've been around a couple of seasons. You've seen the crowds kind of grow. Do you think that kind of helps solidify a relationship between the city and the team?
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome to see how many people came out, especially this year, compared to even my freshman year. Tons of people come to our games, and I play better when I have support. So just to see the whole community here, it helps our team just be excited and not want to lose in Cedar City.
So,
what was it like to be a part of like the biggest average for attendance in SU football history?
It was great. I know there's I think we got an average of 9,000 or 8,000, but there's 30,000 people in Cedar City. So next year we want even more. We want everyone to come out. So we just want to keep getting more popular and get the fans out to support us.
Where are they gonna sit?
That means that we're gonna have to build a little bit, fundraise some money, and build a new stadium. So.
Miles is doing pretty good. Maybe
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. Miles Kilver weight room in the future.
Exactly. That'd be awesome.
So looking to next year, how big is this off season for you? What's happening?
Well, for both of us, it's our last year to play in college football. The seniors kind of take over during the off season, and this off season is going to be really determined on how the seniors take over the team. The coaches are going to keep doing their thing. They're part of what their responsibilities are, but for the future of this off season, I really want the seniors to step up and kind of be the examples, the leaders, and not take any any dumb things that happen with the younger kids. We have tons of seniors coming back next year, and it's time for us to step up and kind of lead the team.
Now, you've already kind of stepped into a leadership role, it seems, but are you putting more pressure on yourself leading into next year?
Definitely. This year I was able to feel comfortable being vocal with the team and just kind of trying to be a leader. So especially this being my last year, I want to do as much as I can. I don't need to do anything too crazy because we have so many seniors to help out. So instead of me having to take over the whole team, I want to try and get all the seniors to put their part forth and help the team out.
So Patrick, first off season here. I see you did come back after Thanksgiving, so there you go. What's your plan going forward?
Just appreciating the opportunity to get better, like Mike was talking about. Just this being my first year, I wasn't able to really be vocal as I wanted to be. Excuse me. And just be a better leader. And for the most part, we just want to be able to set an example for the younger players going into this year. Just setting the tone early. Like, we don't want to be good for just 1 year. We want to be good for years to come. And I think it starts with us seniors with setting the tone during the off season.
So how can you get better during an off season?
I got a lot to get better from, honestly, just especially the weight room. That's what I'm more excited for than anything, just being able to take the weight room hard and just fundamentals and just everything, honestly. Like, I'm looking forward to it.
But like when there's like no practice going on, how do you like still throw a football around to your buddies?
Yeah, definitely. You got to work when nobody is watching behind the scenes. Pretty much that's how you reach your full potential. It's just continue to work when nobody is watching, and just working with your teammates too. Like, I think that's where it all starts. That's how you build chemistry early.
How do you build chemistry during like the weight room sessions and all that?
Like I said, just making sure that everybody's on the right page. Like Mike said, just building that senior leadership and just rallying guys together when there's probably no practice on a Sunday, on the weekends. Getting together and throw, just to put yourself in the best position to succeed this season.
Mike, obviously last season was a lot more successful for you guys. How much are you going to use the small disappointment of this year to motivate you during the winter months?
Well, things didn't turn out the way we wanted to. I feel like we did some really good things this year. We ended great with NAU, and just by ending great with NAU, that kind of helps us in this off season just to stay motivated. And next year, I mean, my goal next year isn't to shoot for the stars, isn't to win a national championship. My goal is just to do the best that SU has ever done. Hopefully win a playoff game, and then we'll go from there. But I mean, you got to take it little by little. You can't shoot for the stars without reaching the sky. So you have to just little by little.
You guys went 6-5 this year. What's the culture like? Are you guys trying to build like a more winning culture at SU? 2 years back-to-back winning records. What's that do for the program?
Yeah, I mean, winning's always the goal. If you have a winning season, that always helps. But I think if we're trying to build more character in the guys, be accountable for each other, because if you have great players and great kids, you're gonna win games. I felt like maybe certain times this year we didn't hold each other accountable, and it kind of affected us during the year. So as long as we got each other's backs and the coaches stay firm to what we're trying to build, our culture, then we're gonna win games, because we have great talent. Next year we're gonna have so many guys come back, and we're gonna be really good next year as long as we can build our culture and have good character.
Mike, what's your assessment on Coach Warren's first year?
He did really well. He worked very hard, and I'm just excited because he did as much as he could this year, but he wants to achieve even more next year. So he's already working hard. He's not taking a break right now. He's out recruiting, and I trust him. I trust all the coaches. We have to do our part. They have to do their part, and we'll all come back.
Did you see him like change at all during the year, even like or versus when he was a defensive coordinator?
Yeah, he was stressed out a lot more. I could tell. He wasn't as outgoing as he usually is, which is fine. But you could tell how much his team matters to him, and how much he wants to succeed and support his family. But yeah, he's still the same old Demo. Good guy.
Is it easy to play for someone that you can tell cares that much about the success of the team?
Is it easy to play for them? Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just like a parent. If you can tell that they care for you and for the whole team, then you want to keep trying to do better in life and stuff. So as long as we can tell that he cares, we're going to keep trying to get better.
Patrick, what was your assessment on your year?
Coming in, honestly, I didn't know what to expect. First, especially being from a JUCO, and then coming in with him being his first year being the head coach. But I feel like I was able to take a lot from it. I kind of really do assess things, and I feel like he did a pretty great job just keeping just building a family. Really, this is my first time actually felt like I was a part of it, family outside of, of course, my original family, but it felt good just having that bond with everybody and him just leading by example, really.
Well, why do you feel that this was a family?
Just the way everybody's stuck together. When things got bad, we stuck together. Of course, things didn't go the way we obviously wanted to go, but we stuck together and remained close.
Now, when it comes to you, getting signed a couple weeks before the fall camp and then being a starting quarterback for the majority of the year, how do you feel like you did, just individually?
I felt like I did, under the circumstances, I feel like I did pretty good. Like I said, I wish I could have been here in the spring, got the whole spring under my belt. I felt more comfortable, but I think I did pretty good just coming in and helping the team win a few games.
Has Coach Walterscheid talked to you about your future here and like what he expects from you?
Oh yeah, definitely said we're gonna have a crazy offseason, so I'm looking forward to it.
Like, are you coming into spring prepared to have a battle at quarterback, or do you think you kind of solidified yourself?
No doubt, I don't expect anything to be given to me. I expect to work for it. I believe I play better when I have like a competition, so I'm looking forward to the competition, honestly.
Is it hard to, like, I guess, take over a leadership mantle when that's kind of looming in the background, that competition?
Not really. I feel like a leader gonna lead at the end of the day, whether he's not playing or playing. So I feel like I just gotta step up for the opportunity.
How important was it to end the season the way you guys did against NAU?
It was very important to end that game the way we did. Just going into that game, we knew what it would mean to the seniors. Being their last game, not knowing if they'd ever play again. So we really did it for them for the most part, of course for the team, but for the most part for the seniors.
Mike, do you guys play the what if game at all, like after the year when you're looking at the FCS bracket?
Oh yeah, especially with Weber State. That game didn't hurt me too much after the game, just because we did it to ourselves. Can't blame anyone. But now, every time I think about it, we were one play away from going to playoffs, and it happens. But what if?
Is it frustrating because, like, looking at some of the results last week, do you feel like you could have probably competed a little better than some of these teams?
Yeah, the rough thing is we played so well at NAU, and you can just think of, like, it took us all year to get to this point, and we should have just started the season out this way. But I mean, it's a process when you get a new head coach, when you get a new quarterback, just new players on the team. It's a process you have to go through. You can't just be the best team. So that's what I'm happy about. We ended with NAU super well, and that just higher my hopes for next year.
You do lose some guys, though. How hard is it going to be to replace those guys?
Really hard. It's going to be hard not to have Mike Sharp and Brady Meeson on the team. They were huge roles for our offense. I mean, even just the rest of the guys that were on the team that are leaving. But they set their standard here. They left their mark, and us seniors or juniors that have been here and known those guys, we got to try and carry that forward and continue what they taught us.
And you lose JT on defense. I don't know how much more you can do with you personally, but are you expecting a bigger role next year to, like, cover more people, because you guys did struggle in that end?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do all we can. I don't know what the plan is next year, what guys we are recruiting from JUCOs or high school, but we'll find a way. And if we need to move guys around, if I need to play corner or whatever, we'll do what we need to win.
Patrick, how bad are you gonna miss Mike Sharp next season?
You know, I was thinking about that before I even got in here. He was a huge impact this year, and it's not easy to replace him. But it's the next man up. We got to work this offseason to hopefully find the next Mike Sharp, or the person who'll be better than him, or just next Ty or whoever. It just really comes down to the next man up. We're just working hard this offseason to put ourselves in the best situation.
As, like, talking about the family and the culture of the team, how difficult is it just to have the guys leave, just not even on the field production wise?
It's tough because like I said earlier, you build relationships and bonds with the guys, and especially me, just being my first year, I was only here to be with them 1 year or so, and it was still great to get to know those guys personally and on the field. So I'm gonna miss those guys a lot.
What are you going to use as your motivation this off season?
Really, just to win. Being a senior, I want to go out with a bang. Been through so much, and and just taking Brady Meeson, for example. You never know when it's gonna end. Like, it could one play, first game, middle of the season. You never know what's gonna end. So you really gotta take it as giving it your all. I think that's what it comes down to. Not taking it for granted and just giving it your all.
With everything that went right this season, what changes are you going to expect next year?
I feel like we got to be a more disciplined team, honestly. I think that's what that was the difference between us winning some games is being more disciplined. So I think that's gonna be a huge impact.
Yeah, definitely. There's, I think a lot of times during the season we enjoy it too much, where we don't take it as serious. So I think discipline's the right word, and just kind of realizing what we want to achieve and not, I don't know, not joke around as much, but take it more seriously, and actually want to be a great college football player, not just on the team, but actually do something to help the team win.
Yeah, especially when you think about going into that last game, the NAU game, I feel like just the whole mentality of everybody of wanting to win and actually like everybody just, it was just a whole different attitude going into that game, especially with it being the seniors' last game. I feel like if we could build from that last game, it's definitely going to help us in the long run.
What do you think that attitude switched that week?
Like I said, I can honestly tell you for me, just especially being, it was mostly being the seniors' last game, just understanding what it would mean to them. Like I told them at the end of that game, like that game would be remembered for the rest of their life, whether it was a win or a loss. So it was really up to us what the outcome would be, and thankful it was a win. So I think that had a huge part to play.
So how do you think you can carry that over to every game week?
Like I said, not taking it for granted. I think that's the biggest thing right there, is not taking it for granted. It can end at any time. I think that's what's going to help me, definitely.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.